Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So today, this is going to be my take on the astrological forecast for December 2021. So this is a fast-moving month, December. We start off on the 1st of December with the Sun sextiling Mercury. And of course, we're talking about Sagittarius here. And this is actually bringing up some absolutely wonderful inspirational messages. You know, when we look at Mercury, we're talking about communications. It's also going to talk about our thoughts. So a lot of our thoughts are going to be more towards the positive, enlightened, as well as sort of inspiring, forward-looking, excited type of thoughts. So I think that's a great way to start off the 1st of December. But of course, right on the heels of that, we have our final total new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And on the Pacific coast, it will be on the 3rd of December at 11:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the degree point will be 12 Sagittarius 22 minutes. So do check to see your chart, especially if you are a Sagittarian or you have a rising or ascendant for Sagittarian, because this will be significant for you. Certainly all Sagittarians, this is a new start for your life, no question of it. So the effect of this will be up to 6 months, in particular for those folks that actually have this either on their ascendant, on their sun, the moon, or a conglomeration of 3 or more planets revolving around this 12-13 degree mark of Sagittarius. So do check it. Of course, I love to hear your comments, and we can talk back and forth in the comment section as well. So also at this total eclipse, we have Mercury in Sagittarius, and it will be conjuncting this sun and moon very close by. So this kind of follows on the heels of that 1st of December that I spoke about, where the positive thoughts, the inspiration to move forward with things, that just feel good type energy is going to be all over this total eclipse, no question of it. Now, if we look at potentially the negative side of something like this, and in particular for those who are Sagittarians, it could be too much optimism, right? This is a total eclipse, so this is like a new moon on steroids, it's been described as. But because we've got Mercury there too, and we've got Mars that's going to be heading into this area too, it could be over optimism. So I say don't count, don't count all your chickens yet, Sagittarius. But certainly you will be feeling very optimistic. You may have a lot of gifts and benefits coming in for you at this time, and certainly good luck, just like Santa Claus will be around, and maybe Santa will be handing out some gifts to you that you never expected. All right, so the other things that are associated with this total eclipse are things like wisdom, right? So Sagittarius really is like the teacher. The enlightened Sagittarian actually wants to teach. They don't want to gain goods or buy goods. What they want is something that they can't buy, and that is wisdom. So that's something that for some of us we could be sort of aiming towards, is wisdom at this time, and being engaged in meaningful activity. So that's also Sagittarian too. So Sagittarius rules the 9th house, and I actually did a video on meaning in life, and that sort of is covered by mostly that 9th house, which is ruled by Sagittarius. And of course, it's also social betterment. So we may actually get some very encouraging news regarding, more equality in our social setting. But certainly travel, foreign people, foreign places will all be highlighted at this time too. And like I said, because it's a total eclipse and there's Mercury here too, there's going to be a lot of probably stuff on the news regarding foreign travel, foreign people and places. That's going to be sort of coming into the mix here. And hopefully it will all be positive. Neptune is going to go direct though just before this, and on the 2nd of December, and that's going to be significant too. The Sun will be in Sagittarius for most of December, And on the 11th of December, we're going to have Venus conjuncting Pluto. So with this whole Neptune going direct, this means things are going to be cleared up. So this is more like a 6-month period where Neptune was retrograde, causing confusion, causing miscommunications, misunderstandings, that type of thing. And certainly it could be a direct hit from the news where there's a lot of deception going on, or just sort of smoke and mirrors. That's all going to clear up once this Neptune goes direct. Now, it does take a while to catch up and move forward at a speed, but we can certainly look at December as being the start of that. So if there has been some things that have been foggy, or there's lots of smoke and mirrors type things going, or there's just been a lot of miscommunications or misunderstandings, expect December, along with this actual total new moon eclipse, to actually start clearing some of that up. So that's something positive to look forward to too. We will have, as I mentioned, Mars going into Sagittarius. This will be mid-month December, and it will be conjuncting this total eclipse degree point of 12 degrees on New Year's. So for some of us, we may actually see this new beginning literally on New Year's Eve. So maybe make plans to do something fun, whether that's with a lot of people or just with your best buddies. On the 19th of December, we have our Venus retrograde in Capricorn happening. And this will be at 26 degrees Capricorn. It will be conjuncting intense, soul-searching, truth-seeking, uncovering secrets Pluto. And this Venus will be conjuncting Pluto 3 times through the retrograde, and then finally in the beginning of March going direct. So there's going to be some very powerful effects behind this. So what kind of powerful effects are we looking for? Traditionally, when we talk about Venus retrograde, we're talking about a past love coming back into our life and you deciding what you want to do with it. But this will be a very powerful effect. It could be maybe a lost love for some people, that you never thought this person would come back. And this ushers in a time period where you find out that this person is still around and they come back to contact you. But certainly this can tie in with money. So this is the other thing that could be happening here, is something happens with our money markets, but then individually you may also have this time period. So the time period is fairly long. It's from pretty well mid-December 2021 all the way the first week of March 2022. This may be sort of a little saga where you maybe recover money that was initially lost or you thought was taken away from you. When you've got Pluto there, Pluto's a person in power. So these are judges. These are, people who run companies, that sort of thing. So something may come back with regards to money. But the other thing too, at the core of Venus, of course, is values. Are our values truly representing ourselves here? So this could be some of us do some soul searching, saying, am I valuing myself enough? And do I need to change that? Do I need to move the needle here where I can show myself to be more valuable and not have other people decide what my value is, that I step up and say, I am valuable. And it may mean for some people requesting more money from those in power. So that's the Venus conjunct Pluto as well. All right. I did do a video on this and I'll leave the link for you. I do go into all the sun signs and ascendants as well. So please feel free to take a look at it down below in the text box. Just before I finish this though, I will say that it does, Venus retrograde does go direct at literally the end of January 2022. And it will be at 11 degrees. So we want to look at 26 degrees of Capricorn and 11 degrees of Capricorn. Now, of course, mixed with this whole Venus retrograde in January, we're going to have our first Mercury retrograde. Now, ostensibly, it will start off and remain in Aquarius, but it's going to dip back into Capricorn around the 26 degree mark, which of course, as I just mentioned, is what Venus goes retrograde at in December 2021. So there's some tie-in with this Mercury retrograde in January with the Venus retrograde. So I would say there's a lot of communications that's going to be going on with regards to love, to money, and to values. And this will be on a collective level as well as a personal level. And again, look for those degrees in your chart. I'll be covering the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius and Capricorn really more in January, but I thought I would mention it now because I think it's really important to just emphasize how important this Venus retrograde is in Capricorn. All right, so on the 18th of December, we have our full moon, and it will just be a regular full moon at 27 degrees of Gemini, 28 minutes. And it'll be at 8:34 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So when we look at the birthdays most affected by this, especially for Geminis, we're looking at those folks that were born between the 18th and the 20th of June birthdays. And then, of course, the opposite sign is Sagittarius. And so we're looking at the 18th to the 20th of December for Sagittarian birthdays to be more directly affected by this full moon in Gemini. But certainly Geminis, you may have some endings of some sort, and it's interesting, it's the end of the year, so perhaps you're wrapping up your year. And you also, of course, have the north nodes of the moon that have been in your sign for a year and a half are now only at 1 degree. So there's only 1 degree left because, of course, the north nodes of the moon transiting go in reverse. They start at 30 degrees and end at 1 degree. And so in December, we have the north nodes of the moon in Gemini at 1 degree. So it's kind of like the last hurrah for you, Gemini. Put every effort you can into pushing whatever it is that you want to do in your destiny path, because you may find people, places, and things come in to really aid you, to push you on that destiny path, which of course will be for the next 20 years. This is a 20-year cycle when we're talking about the north nodes of the moon conjuncting your sun, ascendant, or your own natal nodes. I thought it was interesting too, at this full moon, I noticed that Pope Francis has his south nodes in Gemini, and these are directly affected by him. So when we talk about the south nodes, of course, we're talking about letting go. So he will be, because the north nodes are in Gemini and his south nodes by birth are there, it really speaks to him looking to the future by letting go of something in the past. And I suspect, because Gemini rules communication, this will be something with regards to communication. And I think it also speaks to the fact that he's going to be communicating something directly about letting something go in the Roman Catholic Church. So watch out for that during the 18th of December full moon. It's certainly all about letting go. When we look at the 24th of December, we have, for 2021 at least, we have the last Saturn square Uranus, and it'll be at 11 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus, respectively. So this is just that slow-moving square that's been around all of 2021, and it will also be around next year in 2022. And ultimately what it's saying is you need to let go of the old, worn-out way of either thinking things or doing things and start really looking at the future. What's the better way of doing this? Certainly at its highest, Saturn square Uranus asks for enlightenment, and that's what you should be aiming for as well with this square. But squares are always challenges of some sort where we have to overcome something in order to have something new. So it really speaks to us as a collective, letting go of all those old structures that really don't serve society or, humanitarian type needs. And we need to be looking more at better ways to look at that for the future. Yeah. On the 30th of December, we have Mercury now conjuncting Pluto at that 25 degrees of Capricorn mark. So this will be some kind of important communications, literally, right? Almost at the end of the year on the 30th of December. But also at that time, we have Jupiter ingressing into Pisces. And of course, this is going to be the third time in 2021 that Pisces will go from 0 degrees and then make its way up, of course, to 30 degrees. But for 2021, we had it going up to 2 degrees. So for those folks that have anything around 0 to 2 degrees of Pisces, there's been some kind of process going on for you. Probably something to do with the meaning in life, perhaps travel, perhaps some kind of foreign element, maybe even gurus and teachers, that kind of involvement here too. That's going to start coming up here towards the end of December too, at the same time as that Mercury conjunct Pluto. So some very important message that will have a lot of depth to it is what I would say, especially as we look towards doing the right thing. So Jupiter is also about that too, right? Doing the right thing for all. And so something like that will come out at this time. But this is great news. So all of, obviously, the first half of next year, 2022, Jupiter will be in Pisces. And I did cover the Jupiter in Pisces, that whole thing, and I did all the ascendants and sun signs in a video as well. So I'll leave a link for that. Please feel free to take a look at it and see how you'll be affected. So when we look at January 2022, just a little peek, there's a new moon that will be in Capricorn on the 2nd of January. And then there's going to be a full moon in Cancer on the 17th of January. And notably, it's going to be at the 27th degree of Cancer. But of course, a full moon means that the moon will be in Cancer, but then the opposite sign, Capricorn, will be where the sun is at 27 degrees. So we know that this full moon will be opposite Pluto, but the sun will be conjunct Pluto. So a very powerful full moon in Cancer will be coming up on the 17th of Jan. So I expect any Cancer risings or sun signs, or if you've got a conglomeration of planets around that 27 degree mark. So that would be late born Cancers. This could be some kind of real big transformation for you that ends some things, but then can also bring other things your way. We will, as I mentioned, have our first Mercury retrograde also in January. It's going to be both in Aquarius as well as Capricorn. So stay tuned. I'm going to be putting up a video will be a longer video. I will go into a little bit more depth into this total solar eclipse new moon that happens on the 3rd of December 2021. I just wanted to put a little bit more in there. I did put another video up covering all the Sagittarian eclipses that happened from 2020 right the way through to this one in 2021. But I just wanted to add more to it. So I'm going to add another video, long video, and I will put in sun signs as well as ascendants so you can see how this eclipse affects you. So I'm sending everybody a lot of love and a lot of best wishes and good wishes for December, generally speaking. But certainly I'm making this just before Thanksgiving. So for those that are watching this around that time, happy Thanksgiving to you, but certainly happy Christmas. And I hope that this new year coming up in 2022 will just be wonderful for everybody. So again, I'm sending you lots of love and thinking positive thoughts for everybody. If you do want your chart done, this of course would be an ideal time. It's the end of the year and we could look forward to what's happening for you, not only in 2022, but also maybe in the years to come. I certainly cover up to 3 years in transits for you when I do your chart. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this up. Please take care of yourself and we will talk to you soon in my next long video and then again in January 2022. Bye for now.